Good morning to all the students of political science once again here. As you know, students, we were doing the fourth chapter of our book Contemporary World Politics, and the name of the chapter, as you know, is Alternative Centers of Power. And we had already finished with our four parts, and in those four parts, I had explained you about the European Union, about the Association of Southeast Asian Nation, that is ASEAN, and the last topic which I had taken was rise of Chinese economy. So in all those four parts we were talking about that how these groups or associations were like a challenging to US. That's why they were called as alternative centers of power. So now moving forward in this chapter, I shall be telling you some relationships in concern to India, that is Indo-China relationship here. So here is starting the topic India-China relations. As we know the location of both these countries of Asia, those both the countries are the neighbors and the most important country of Asia. And both the countries have a very strong influence all over the world in terms of, we can say, military, economy, society, culture, everything. These are the growing developing countries around the world, and people know about these countries very well. But these two countries as a neighbor did not had much relevance with each other or related to each other in the past. If we talk about the history of these two countries, here starting the first point, it's written here: India and China were great powers in Asia before the advent of Western imperialism. Before the Western influence or the colonization of these countries like India and China, there was not much related to each other, but they were very powerful. If talk about their history, at different times in China, long history of dynastic rule. In China there was a dynasty rule. We have already studied this type of dynastic rules in class 6, 7, 8, 9, in every class in history. In China, there were Mongolia, Korea, parts of Indochina, and Tibet. All these places accepted the China's authority because they had very strong dynastic rule in the past. In their history, they have a very strong and long history in which places like Mongolia, Korea, parts of Indochina, and Tibet, all these places accepted the authority and power of China in the past. So this was the history of China as a part of Asia. If I talk about the relation of in with concern with India, various kingdoms and empires of India. If we have read in history, Indian history, there were many kingdoms, many empires which were very powerful, and they had influence all around its border. It also includes China in terms of its economy, in terms of its culture, military power, everything. However, the regions where India and China exercise influence really ever overlapped. Although these two were the powers in Asia, they were the neighbors. But if we talk about the history, then their power and influence or interest rarely ever overlapped. They did not have any conflicts with each other. They did not have interest in overlapping the influence with each other. It was all limited. They had the limited political and cultural interaction between these two places. Very limited political and cultural interaction. So moving forward, so neither country was familiar with the other in the 20th century. Till 20th century, these two countries, being the neighbors to each other and in the same continent, were not familiar about the political and cultural events of each other. They were unknown to each other. Both nations confronted each other for the first time in 20th century. They met. They had some difficulty evolving a foreign policy to deal with each other. So in the starting in the 20th century, they faced a lot of problems to deal with each other and to form a common foreign policy through which they could connect with each other properly. But there were some difficulties in the starting, as if you talk about the culture, about the lifestyle, about the land of China and India, these two are totally different from each other. That is why, being the neighbors, they did not even interact with each other for centuries. But finally in 20th centuries, they had moved on. Here, after independence, Indochina, so after independence of China in 1949 and after the freedom of India, that is in 1947, both these countries started a relation. But and in the starting after the independence, both the countries had a friendly gestures. They moved and took a step with a friendly relations here. And that is why slogan, like you must have heard of a very popular slogan, Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai, was very popular at that moment in around 1950s. But suddenly after their independence, after 1 or 2 years, In 1950 onwards, both the nations were involved in the differences on the issue of Tibet. The problem arose with the problem of Tibet. There was no problems, no conflict. There was no reasons to have a conflict between India and China. But in 1950, there was a reason, a big reason for the sourness, where the sourness in the relationship of India and China started with the problem of Tibet. Tibet is a place on the border of India and China. And the China said that Tibet belonged to its territory. So, and but the people of Tibet did not wanted to be a part of China. They wanted to be free from its rule. They wanted to be a sovereign territory. So, moving forward after 1950s, border issues led to the signing of Panchshil. So, there was some border issues also between India and China related to Aksai Chin area of Ladakh and Arunachal Pradesh. So, all these problems were going on at that moment. India and China decided to sign an agreement to maintain peace in both the countries. So, in 1954, they signed an agreement. Its name was Panchshil. Okay, India also advocated, and this time India also advocated and supported China's membership in United Nations. Here, still, apart from signing this agreement treaty to maintain peace in between these two countries and have economic development altogether, still after that, around 1957, border issues in Arunachal Pradesh Aksai Chin area of Ladakh, Chinese attack in 1962, and contribution of China to nuclear program of Pakistan led to poor relation between the two nations. After signing this Panchshil agreement in 1954, again the problem started to arose from 1957, where the border related issues for the capturing of the territory, like China said, most of the areas of Arunachal Pradesh belong to the Chinese territory, and Aksai Chin region of Ladakh, a plateau. Chinese also said this region belonged to them for centuries, and because of these border issues and also the issue related to Tibet problem, where India helped Tibet, this all led to a war in 1962. So there we cannot say that the war was only because of a single border issue. It was a long-term confrontation going between India and China regarding the territories and also regarding the Tibet issue, and this led to the war of 1962. Okay, and also there was a problem that China was always supporting Pakistan in its nuclear program. So here India was not happy with the China's support towards Pakistan. This also led to the poor relationship between these two countries, which led to the war of 1962. So as I told you, the war in 1962 between India and China, and what were the reasons for all that, and one was the most important was border dispute. So all the what were the all disputes between India and China related to their borders or territories. I'm going to discuss it here, but before that I will just show you a map regarding it. This is the northern part of India, as you can see. This is a map of India, and this red shaded part are the places, are the areas which are in the conflict for India and China. These territories, China says this territory belongs to its territory. Like here, this is Aksai Chin area of Ladakh. Okay, this place and this part of Arunachal Pradesh. Here China claims that this region or this area comes under the territory of China, and India says this is the territory of India. So this was a major issue of relationship between India and China, and this area whole is of Tibet, and here China also claims that Tibet belongs to its territory. And number two, again in this one of the same, but still showing you with the here the green shaded part. This is upper part, POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir, and this is Aksai Chin, which is China claims that it belongs to China. So this red shade is China claims that it is its territory, and here green part, here Pakistan claims this is its territory. So India is in conflict regarding the territory with China also, and here with Pakistan also. And this in eastern side, Arunachal Pradesh, half of the Arunachal Pradesh, China claims to be its part here. Again the same thing is here also, but I have shown you with the other. Here it's written Aksai Chin, this shaded part, China claims itself, and this white part is Siachen Glacier, as you must have heard its name, Siachen Glacier, and this Pakistan occupied Kashmir, this brown shaded part. So India is in conflict with both the side, with this side with Pakistan, this side with China. But in this particular topic, we are studying the relations with China. So Aksai Chin and the Shetpar, Arunachal Pradesh. Here China claims its own authority. So moving forward, border dispute. First part is long-standing dispute over the shared 4,000 kilometer Himalayan border. If we talk about from north to east, from Aksai Chin till Arunachal Pradesh, this border is 4,000 kilometer Himalayan border. This led to the problem with this border led to the 1962 war, Indo-China war. Here India says China occupies only 38,000 square kilometer of territory on the Aksai Chin. Here India is claiming that only 38,000 square kilometer is the territory of Aksai Chin which belongs to China, but China claims it much more than that. In the western Himalayas, if you are talking about the western Himalayas, Aksai Chin only 38,000 square kilometer. But on the other hand, while China claims its rights on nearly 90,000 square kilometer of land in Arunachal Pradesh, China claims around 90,000 square kilometer of area under its territory. It claims that this area belongs to China. So this is a conflict which led to the conflict or the war of 1962 between India and China. Also, there were other reasons like China's support to Pakistan nuclear program. Also, like India giving asylum to Tibet and helping it. That is why the next topic is Tibet. What was the Tibet problem? I will discuss here. India has given asylum to Tibet exiled spiritual guru. Their spiritual leader was Dalai Lama. So in 1950, when we know China had got a new beginning in 1950 after its we can say independence, it has a new political system and they followed the ideology of communalism. They captured the Tibetan region and their religious guru was spiritual guru, we can say Dalai Lama, who came and flew to this region, left this region and came to India and India supported it because in 1959 uprising against China failed. Till 1959 this region Tibet protested against China as China was capturing their territory. But this region failed to suppress China and China was successful in suppressing this particular revolt. So after that Dalai Lama fled to India. Tibet claims it was independent until China's occupied. Tibet here claims that it was an independent nation, it was an independent territory, and China has occupied it in 1950. After 1950, there was lot of conflicts and revolutions to free Tibet, but it was not possible as China was growing a strong economy. It was very strong than Tibet. It also claimed that Tibet had been its territory for. China also says that Tibet is the territory of China for centuries, from a long time. So next topic is improvement in the Indo-China relations. So what are the changes in the relationship of India-China after the war of 1962? For years after 1962 war, there was no contact between India and China. Here relations began to improve slowly from the mid 1970s. In the middle of 1970s, this decade, the relationship between India and China started to begin. What were the reasons for that? As we know, in 1970s, there was a change in political system of China. They moved from a pragmatic style to a from the ideological system, and they believed in the talks. Also they resolved the border issues. They had a certain solution for the border territory issues with India in 1981. Now these relations have strategy and economic dimension, but if we talk about the current situation, now India and China both doesn't want to be involved in the territorial problems with each other, doesn't want to waste their economy in the wars, in such problems. Now they are more involved in strategic and economic dimensions, as these are the most important developing nations in the world today. So they wanted to be strong in terms of economy, military. So their focus is on strategic and economic dimensions and to move forward together with the peaceful methods and developing their economy and other political system, cultural system altogether. Here later we can say Rajiv Gandhi visit. This was a missed turning point here. Rajiv Gandhi visit to China in 1980. Here, Rajiv Gandhi went to visit China and he had discussed and signed many agreements to move a relationship with China in a friendly way. Then, after that, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, in visit in 2003, moved on this relationship further and maintained the peace and tranquility in the border. Then they majorly focus on improvement in the science and technology, about how to improve the economy, employment, about to influence the world towards these two important nations of Asia. So these were the major focus of both the countries nowadays. So with this we come to the end of this particular topic, and in the next book, in the second part of the political science, we will be studying again this relationship of India and China, which in detail. Here it was a short topic. In that book we will be studying it in detail. Till then you study it. Thank you.